Good morning, guten Morgen, magandang umaga, konnichiwa, bonjour. So I'd like to share a part of my testimony that I've shared before in the past, but I think it's a good reminder, like a recap, and I think it might be very valuable, a very valuable seed for you, perhaps, in your own walk and maybe in your own experiences for what may come. I'm not a fear-mongering person or doomsday, Armageddon. Armageddon, I think, just means the great revealing, okay? Coming into reality of, exposing what you thought was true into what was really true. I'm not a speaker. Sorry. So back when I became born again in Christ, December 2018, I had just moved to this area in Western Massachusetts. I came from Keene, New Hampshire to, this small town. And I had to reestablish myself when it came to being employed, because I was working in Keene. And when I moved to this area, I was starting new. I didn't know, I didn't have any set goals, really. I had no financial planning, nothing, which is odd to think about, that but I had no fear at the time. Now, when I first moved here, I wasn't born again in Christ yet, but I felt peace about this new transition. So in January, I moved here in August 2018. I became born again December. And in January, I didn't have any money, really. Any money I had was dwindling in my account. And I didn't have any consistent, solid employment yet. So in my house, my cupboards were starting to go bare. Where I drink coffee in the morning, but I didn't have any sugar in coffee either. But at the time, I was doing YouTube videos sharing my testimony, but no one knew about what was going on in my personal life, as far as, not having a job, running out of food in my house. I laugh because I recall opening cupboards 4 or 5 times, like double checking, triple checking, to see that there was nothing in the cupboard, as if I was going to discover something hidden behind some glasses or something. It was down to, I had like couscous, which is kind of like a pasta. I had vegetable or chicken broth. I had some bouillon cubes. I had like a can of beans and chickpeas that I didn't quite open up yet. I didn't get that so-called desperate yet. And it was very humbling. And I found a lot of humor in not having anything. I could have gone on YouTube, because I was in the so-called Christian circles and I had subscribers, and I could have gone the route of, explaining to people my situation where people would find it in their heart to help or whatever. But I've never been like that. Even before I came to Christ, I was never good at, and you could call it pride if you want to, that's fine. I'm sure that it is some sort of form of pride, that I never asked for help when I needed it. Okay? And I was very independent thinking, and I could do it myself, and if I have struggles in my life, I'll just push through it and get through it. So anyways, long story short, I was running out of food. I can't say I had no food. I had a can of black beans and a few things here and there, where I didn't look at it in a negative way. I looked at it, I had just become born again in Christ. And I'm not going to say I looked at it like it was a test. I don't really know, but it was very humbling. And when you don't have any food, when you don't have something, you have a better understanding and appreciation of when you do have it later. Because now I have I have food in storage. I have plenty of money, plenty of work. And you could call it a blessing from the Lord, and I do. I thank the Lord. I work really hard. I do. I only work part-time, but my work is very physical, and then I'm grateful about being able to physically do it because I had Lyme disease and I was bedridden. And when you allow something to take over your life, you're allowing it to take over your life mentally and emotionally, along with the physical. And when the Lord saved me and delivered me and set me free, it wasn't just physically. Again, it was mentally and it was emotionally, because this is a spiritual battle, a battle for your vessel, your temple, your crown, your mind. And the Lord helped me understand that and gave me the wisdom to overcome the darkness, to overcome the enemy, the lying spirits that were lying to me about a lot of different things. So the reason why I'm sharing this testimony with you now is that there may come a time again, and I'm not a fear-mongering person, but there may come a time again where, people are talking about food shortages and, the economy crashing or whatever. I have no fear about any of that stuff because, like I said, when I first moved here, I didn't have work. I had the can of beans and I had a can of chickpeas, and I had some couscous left and maybe some pasta or something, but I didn't have a lot. But the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. So even though I didn't have in January 2019, and I have more than enough to where if, my neighbors needed help or something, I'm more than happy to share whatever I have. Because it's what else, you know what I mean? I don't want anyone else to go without or whatever. But now that I have an abundance of food and, I have shelter and I have the peace of Christ, you want to share it with others. So there may come a time where I have nothing again. Whatever happens, again, I'm not fear-mongering, okay? But I'm also not storing up 10 years of food and freeze-dried stuff. That's gross. I mean, if you've watched any preppers, experienced preppers, they'll tell you to stock up on the things you actually eat, because the freeze-dried stuff is disgusting. I think there's going to be a lot of people, those that try to save their life will lose it. There's going to be a lot of people who, you know, you're not going to be comforted by your freeze-dried stuff. You know, you don't have the peace of Christ. This is a spiritual warfare that a lot of people are going to be hurting and suffering. And I think that I don't know the plans of the Lord, and I don't try to say that I know where this is going. But being the light of Christ, by my example, by my testimony, by my walk, is perhaps how we are going to teach others. It's not, I'm not a teacher. We listen to no man and we follow no one in the flesh. But you can't not, when you see someone who, again, has the peace of Christ and is not in a panic and doesn't have anxiety, doesn't have fear, the curiosity in others may kick in. Why is this person so calm? Why is this person standing on that rock, or they're like a rock where others are falling to pieces? So again, it might be that we are the example that other people may want to know the Lord, and the Lord will place it in their hearts to seek Him. I'm not saying they're going to find Him by following me. Again, they're not going to follow me, but they're going to wonder why I am okay no matter what happens. So I hope this, again, plants a good seed that we may be the testimony that the light that people didn't know they were seeking, the truth that people didn't know that they wanted in their life. I love you, and God bless.